RBC, the Inspector General of Police, the UNA's country rep, and my brother for Rainbow Center, distinguished, and our sisters, and the medical field. I'm just like a concern. Don't get offended. I'm just seeing more beautiful women.
You don't sound like
I'll actually closely watch whether I can find a gentleman around. But this shows that we are here for serious discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me on behalf of Excellency the First Lady, and if there was something like a missing link, and how can we forge this thing forward? And we already heard about the setting up of the special mode and court. We heard about signing an MOU with other stakeholders in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence. And we'll be following up the legitimate concern of our Excellency in pursuing this fight under the House of our God initiative. But this is not going to be just the work of the First Lady. It's going to be a collective effort, getting everybody involved. So we can't do this in isolation. And one key agenda that we were able to identify was to see how we can get doctors together to have a discussion around this. Because whenever we have issues that has to do with rape or sexual violence related cases, you are the people, the professionals that have to give you professional advice on a number of issues. So we want to say thank you, Dr. Olabisi. I look at her as a role model in this country, for somebody who stepped forward and said, listen, I am going to champion this cause. And she assured her Excellency that I'm going to give you people who have committed themselves and time that they want to get themselves involved in this struggle. It is a struggle indeed, but I think with women, I always have this belief that men rule the world, but women rule the men who rule the world. So having women who want to take ownership of a process clearly defines that there is a commitment. And at any given point in time when the woman says this is the way we have to go, we always see very good results. And I'm not saying this out of anxiety, but I'm saying it out of experience. I've worked with the First Lady, which I feel extremely comfortable, which I extremely determined to see how we can work towards changing the narrative that happens in our country. We're not just going to limit ourselves to sexual and gender, but there are a number of things that women can do in this country that will give us a better future. So, on behalf of Her Excellency, the First Lady, my colleague staff, my name is Sheikh Salim Fikar. I happen to be the chief of staff in this small office. I want to welcome you to our humble office, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a beautiful discussion, and we're going to have something that we're going to take home that's going to get us involved. We choose to have the UN person involved because the guys that have the money, they know where the money is. And we will so. Unfortunately, we have not been able to see the money. We brought the Rainbow Center because they have the beautiful data. They're going to tell us that this is what has been happening over the years. We got the Sierra Leone police involved because it has to do with enforcement. We got the family support because we believe every one of us, before we get to where we want to go, we rush to family support for their intervention. We're expecting somebody for national medical. So those are the partners we have been looking out for. But you are the key players. So even when we launched the court, we realized that there was still a missing link to see Dr. Olabisi and two other doctors moving from one court to the other. So she promised the First Lady that I'm going to give you a team. And I'm sure we are here for discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you and thank you so much for your
Her Excellency, First Lady, thank you very much for having us this afternoon. We want to thank you for involving us. I'm here presenting the doctors who are involved or who have shown interest in being involved in SGBV issues. We are all part of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association, of which I am the president. And it's an association that has been very quiet, but we have been in existence since 1974. We went dormant, but we are now a vibrant group of young doctors, female doctors. We have over 100 doctors, female doctors. I think about 124 on the WhatsApp group. But we have a core of doctors who have shown their interest in being involved in the provision of medical service for sexual and gender-based violence survivors. So we're here to meet you today to show and commit ourselves to your agenda as well with regards to Hands of Our Girls. I think we're all working towards a common goal, and which is the prosecution of cases as well as trying to prevent the cases. I think the members will go around and introduce themselves. One of the core values of the association is providing service, quality service to the populace. And I think as women doctors, we're doing a good job of that, and they've shown commitment to the profession. And I think in moving forward, working with the female doctors will assist in providing the quality services that we're looking for when it comes to gender-based violence. So I present to you members of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association. So,
I am Dr. Medina Thompson. I am a family physician and I work at Connaught Hospital, and I'm the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association.
I'm Dr. Claudetta Elsbeck, a medical officer, currently work at the Chinese Fellowship Hospital.
I'm Dr. Christina Williams, physician specialist, heading the medical department at Jewel Hospital, a member of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association.
I'm Dr. Frances Ramanti Isise, obstetrician gynecologist. I work at Inhaman Road Hospital. I am the vice president of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association.
I am Dr. Swad Aisha Kamara, house officer, junior doctor. I'm currently at Connaught Hospital.
Okay. I'll start. I am Dr. Hedges Safiati Sovula, working at the Kinghama Road Hospital, Pediatric Department.
I am Dr. Elizabeth Aliyu, currently from study leave. I was working at the emergency hospital as the pediatrician there.
I am Dr. Sylvia Johnson, house officer at Jesus Christian Maternity Hospital.
Dr. Frances Magdalene Sise, registrar at Macaulay State Government Hospital.
I'm Dr. Hawana Tobari, the medical officer working at Aberdeen Women's Center and the Assistant Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association.
I am Dr. Jennifer Lamwana Kamara, house officer, currently attached at Connaught Hospital, a member of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association.
I am Dr. Jatu Aman Sise, a medical officer currently at the Connaught Hospital.
Well, yes, so thank Dr. Olabisi very much. We are very much happy to have our fine and dynamic female medical doctors who are here to join a common fight. That is the project Hands of Our Girls. like Mr. Ataka rightly said, we've done quite a lot, but we strongly believe that we cannot do it individually, but we can only succeed through our collective efforts. I'm very much happy that finally we have our medical doctors, because we have been grappling with this when it comes to the endorsement of medical reports, especially in terms of enhancing our investigation. So I'm very much happy that we have decided to add on to our numbers. The police is there now. We have our women who are here to join the common fight with the Hands of Our Girls project, which is led by her other person, but Her Excellency the First Lady. The challenge is actually very huge. Like I rightly said, we have been working tooth and nail, but I'm really happy that we are actually improving on our numbers. A lot of things have been done, in terms of how we can actually get other partners, enhancing our partnership approach towards the fight against sexual and gender-based violence. We have, signed quite a lot of memorandum, like the John Bosco Fambu, where they are providing shelter for victims of sexual and gender-based violence. And even from that location, we also need medical doctors who can actually give us the support. And we have also signed MOU with other institutions like NEMS, that is the National Emergency Medical Service across the country, to provide ambulance services for our victims, especially those in remote areas, who cannot easily access. That is where actually when it comes to compromise, there is a leeway for everybody. So we've actually decided to have a partnership with NEMS to actually assist the Sierra Leone Police Force to pick up victims in remote areas so that they can easily access medical services across the country. And again, we are also working with other institutions, to make sure that at least they support the process. It's not an easy process, but if we come together collectively, I think we can make a difference. Now we are actually, we are just discussing with Her Excellency, some of the, the trial cases, and I think we are actually making progress. This we said, as I rightly said, we cannot do it alone. The police force cannot do it alone. The Go Center cannot do it alone. Her Excellency the First Lady cannot do it alone. We have to work together to actually make sure that we restore the dignity and pride of our vulnerable girls and women. So on that note, Her Excellency, I want to thank you very much for this initiative. You've done quite a lot. We are in Kinton addressing all the family support units. And since your address, we've actually, score quite a remarkable success. We are actually getting the commitment of our investigators, and we are actually pushing to make sure that whatever case that is reported in any of those police stations, they should immediately report us, so at least we can also monitor. And we also have the Police Fight Association on Friday. Her Excellency will be addressing all the Police Fight Association, the Mami Queens and deputies across the country, so that at least we can get their cooperation and support to fight this common enemy. So on that note, I want to once again thank Excellency the First Lady for this laudable initiative, and Dr. Olubisi. We've always been together, we'll continue to be together. So on that note, I want to thank you very much, Her Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be together. Nobody's running away. Oh boy. Dr. Olabisi, for me and you, this is like a mother and a daughter fight, and I don't know whether we'll win, but we're fighting to win.
Sure.
Auntie Elizabeth, Mrs. Dabo, my honorable women, beautiful, when you talk about doctors, I know they said doctors and you think about syringes and medications and, robes, but not sexy. And, this is like a different kind of environment I find myself now, and I am excited, and I wanted to, first of all, on behalf of His Excellency, say thank you for honoring this invitation. When I work as the First Lady, I do not work as the President. I work under the instructions of His Excellency the President. So I go with his vision,
and I market his vision and I sell his vision to people that will believe in it. And when he discusses his vision, I also try to fit into that vision and see if that is something that works for me, I believe will work for a lot of women. Before I say, okay, sir, let me try my best. The Hands of Our Girl really, of course, is the initiative of the First Lady, but the brainchild of the Hands of Our Girl is His Excellency himself. He basically, when it comes to rape issues, well before he became the president again, this has been a nightmare for him. When he listens to the radio and hear what happens or what is happening around the country, you know, this is the one thing that is making him depressed. It's making him very depressed because he believes that, you know, the world has moved on so far for us to live in a world where rapists can walk freely and they continue to do it and continue to do it. So somebody needs to stop them. When we say we want to stop them, it's not because we hate them. We just want to stop the things they're doing to our kids. They need to stop. And we don't have time. We can't give them any more time. Because the more time we give them, the worse they get. Now the rapes that we're dealing with in this country are not that normal rape anymore. It's not that I love you, come and visit me and then rape. No. The rapes are now very aggressive. The victims are now from we're talking about a 100-year-old woman. If a child can go after a 100-year-old woman and rape that woman, something has gone fundamentally wrong in this country. I alone cannot figure it out. I did not create the problem. I am in the middle of a problem that I'm trying to solve. But on my own is impossible. And right from day one, I have always looked up to Auntie Olabisi for guidance, and I listen to when she tells me this is what is going on. I don't need to go anywhere to get another fact. And when we started the Hands of Our Girl from day one, I sat with Auntie Elizabeth here. I said, I have had enough. Because at that time, really, the fight was meant to be a fight against the police, the FSU, because the complaints were just too many. And I had to present a case to her. I said, look, this is what is going on. And if you people don't get your FSU in order, I'm going after them. And that is where we started the whole process. And then we started selling the idea, and we you know, there's a whole lot of things people will say about why we're doing this, why it is us. If it's not us, who then? If somebody else is doing it, don't you think I'll have a better job to do? Maybe just be doing manicures and pedicures and but somebody needs to stop these people. I'm telling you, the reputation of Sierra Leone, no matter how developed this country, no matter how we transform this country, if every day they're talking about rape in our country, that is not a stable country. For a country where a woman cannot walk freely, that is not a stable country. For a country where if I go out, I have to be watching my back, that is not a stable country. So we can enjoy all the other things, but if we're talking about equality, even when I went to the United Nations, they said, oh, we have to talk about gender equality. I asked them a question. Which of the gender are we talking about? Because when you say gender equality, a man is a gender, a woman is a gender. Now we have those other genders they've added, which I don't want, because when I now talk about it, they said she's against those other genders. But we've had a whole lot of genders, and all of these genders, they've got priority. They've like fast-tracked their own progress. Everything about them, they've got laws. Oh, you don't touch this, you don't touch this one, oh, that one. You can't touch them. Now, who is fighting for us, the women? That is a clear question I ask them. And I don't think I've got the answer yet, because who is actually fighting for the women? It is not about just us women screaming. For me, I believe that for Africa, for the women in Africa to have their rightful place in our development, for us to be looked upon as partners, I think from the ECOWAS, the African Union, before we even get to the UN, this should be in every president's agenda. It should be in our constitutions. If a man can walk freely, a woman should be able to walk freely. If a child, why would I have my child and leave my child for somebody else to come and destroy the future of my child just because they cannot zip up? And when you address people like this, they said, oh, this woman don't talk like First Lady. Now tell me, which mother will talk as a decent mother if somebody comes to their house, rape and destroy their child, and then they see the opportunity of that person going free? Now tell me, which mother is just going to say, yes, well, you know, I'm a lady, I want to behave like one. So when I talk about these issues, it is not for any publicity gain. I don't need publicity. It is really for us to change the mindset of our people. It's for us to be able to say, you know what, that transformation, I was part of it. So that when you are old and you are in your little corner, you'll be able to tell a story and say, I was there when it happened. Because this needs to change. And I am so honored that you wonderful ladies who are thriving in your different walk of lives have decided to come and help us. Because this is like a mother crying to say, I need help. And I need your help. I need you people to help me. Help me understand what is it that I need to do. Help me understand what is it that I have done and I still am missing. What is it that we're missing in this fight? We've got the police with us. We've got the military with us. We've got a special court that is doing wonders right now. But yet still, goodness me, we still have rape as if it's like the rainy season that we all know. Now what is it that you people from outside are saying that I am not saying? Or Auntie Olabisi is not saying? Because something is missing. I don't think you guys are just the missing piece that we've been looking for, but you guys are one of the most important pillars that we've been looking for. Because if you do not have a doctor to come and actually give a proper report on a victim, then that victim is going to be victimized twice. Because if you go to court with a case where a child has been abused, and then that child leaves that court without the right verdict, where she will get justice, she has been victimized not only by a rapist, but she's been victimized by the state. And that's the fight I'm fighting. And I need you guys like yesterday. I need you guys like today. I need you guys in this journey. I can't do it on my own. So my meeting today is really to come and beg you. Say, please, me and my aunties, we need help. And I'm begging you to not only attend this meeting and go and say, you know what, I have better things to do. I just want to place the future of our children in your hands to carry with you. And then let us fight this fight, because I know it's a fight we can win, but we can only win this fight if we do it together. So thank you for coming here. I will sit and re-educate myself and understand what doctors do. Please, if you have anything you want us to know or you want to talk, please, let us just talk frankly. This is the only office in the country that don't follow protocols. So don't worry. Yeah? So please, let us just talk frankly. Let us try to begin to understand our journey, because the journey starts here today with us. So thank you, Auntie Ola. Thank you. And you know I love you. Thank you so very much. We're gonna now listen to all the beautiful doctors. You're the vice president.
Okay, so as part of the Sierra Leone Medical Women's Association, obviously when we restarted the organization again, we had a couple of things that we wanted to embark on. Now, before even forming the subgroup, one of the things we talked about, because again, when we talk about gender violence, we want to get it at the root core. We're here now to say, okay, we're going to treat survivors, but then we want to make sure we prevent it. So one of the things we had talked about was doing school sensitization. Very important to us, so that we target these young boys and also girls, making sure people are aware of personal space, what's right, what's wrong. We thought that was a key way how we can be able to stop or prevent these things from happening. We go target schools. We make sure we educate these boys about what not to do, how to deal with the opposite sex. We definitely thought that would be a first thing. So that's one of the things we're going to embark on, and in a way to make sure we prevent one of these things. But in terms of treatment, we all work in different hospitals. And we definitely know that there's, with government's help now, we have the one-stop centers in different places. Frankly, not all of the centers are set up the way they're supposed to. So I think what the help we also need from you is to ensure that when we say one-stop shop, a survivor can go there and be seen, and there's an FSU, and the case is followed up, so to speak. We're all committed in making sure that the survivors get the care they need when they present, but we also need the help to make sure everything we need is available in the different facilities. That's what I have to say.
Good afternoon all. For me, I think I spoke with Dr. Obisi. For me, this is personal. It's one of the subjects I did for my advanced pediatrics, because I did an MSc in advanced pediatrics, and it's child law. And I told Dr. Obisi, like, I'm interested in the law aspect, because if we don't have laws, one of the modules taught us, if we don't have laws, we won't be able to do anything. Because even if you go to court, the court will ask you, what are your evidence? What are the laws? What's the laws protecting these children? So I think we need to meet with the lawyers and have something concrete and laws being passed by. And just like what Francis said, sexual education is one of the pillars to help prevent rape, because children should know about their body parts, the importance, and how to protect them. And the UK, they have the laws. After 2 years, they should wash themselves, what they should do. I think we're not going to follow exactly what they're doing, but I think we need to look into what they're doing, the rights, the laws, and like continue or add on to it. I think these are points that will really, really help us. And also the ethics, the safeguarding. Binta and I was talking, and she said Don Bosco is helping out. And I said maybe doctors should be knowledgeable about safeguarding. When a child comes, we need to know what's happening. Because a few years back, I was working at the Aberdeen Center. I was in charge for child abuse, and you should be, as a doctor, you should be able to see a child and know like something is going on. Because some of the missing cases, most of them are missed out. They come, they go, we don't know. They come with headache. Maybe it's not the headache, it's something else. Something is going on. Or maybe the mother. But as we all know, rape is within the family. A relative must be involved, so there have to be an adult. So we as professionals, we need to be trained to be able to identify these cases when they come. We need to know something else is going on. I think we are the best people, as you said. It's a collective fight, but we are one of the key players that will help out in this fight.
Thank you, First Lady, for hosting us. You made mention of
Louder, please. Come forward.
As you made mention of the kids, also the rapists, the police and everything. One thing we are forgetting is parenting. We need to involve parents, and it's a very, very good factor in this fight, because most of these kids that are affected, their first contact is their parents. And some of these parents are so ignorant to the fact of the effect that this rape has on their kids. I think we need to involve parents. We need to go into areas where we have parents that are not up to where we are, educate them, talk to them, teach them, tell them the warning signs, let them know the value of it, and let them know the risk, and let's tell them what they need to know. I think that will help some of these kids. And most of them, their first point of contact is their parents. And if a child is being raped and you go to your parents and the parents say, oh, well, you are 17, so what are you expecting? Soon you'll be into this thing, just leave me alone. That child will be like, I'm looking at it, it's from experience, because I live on the east end of the country. I live in an environment where most of the parents are not educationally inclined. Most of them are ignorant, and I know what they think and I know how they feel. We are even following a case of a 15-year-old girl that is being penetrated by, I think, a college boy, that they are in the same house. And I was there, and the mother was saying, I don't want anybody to say anything about this, because I don't want people to look at my girl and say, this girl has been penetrated at this age. I was like, really? You don't know what you are joking about. So these parents need to be involved, and it's supposed to be now. They have to be part of this. That's my reason.
So my own key need is that we doctors are trained, because in the medical field we have different specialties, and we know that rape is a kind of a specialty training. So me being a doctor does not qualify me to be able to examine a patient and be fully confident to start in a court and define and definitely say this is an abuse, because you can look at a patient immediately and notice that this is an abuse, but you have to give the details of that abuse. So that is why we are the lawyers come in. So if you don't have that specialty, you don't have that knowledge enough to say, okay, because of this and this, that is why I am fully sane. Because remember, these perpetrators, they have their lawyers too, and they're also reading, and they're also going out, and they know that Sierra Leoneans, we are not that trained in dealing with these cases. So for me, I think the most thing that most of the doctors are afraid of, like getting in contact with these cases, it's not that they don't want to see them or they don't want to treat them, but they are thinking, how far can I go? I can look at this patient and treat the patient immediately and say, okay, this patient has been abused and all. But the moment you say, let's go to the police or let's go to court, it's a different story. You'll be thinking, I've never been to a court. How am I going to start? That lawyer is going to molest me. They are going to ask me things that I can't say. But you know on your examination, you know. So I think the key thing is for us to be trained. Like those of us that are interested, we need to be trained. And I know Dr. Olabisi has the experience and all, and there are people that are also involved that can train us. So we have the confidence. So when I see a patient, I know definitely this is rape, and I can go to whatever length. So I think that is what actually we need.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm just coming from the point that Jennifer was clearly making. The honest truth is, we're all the approach to the hands of our girls and all we're trying to do is very laudable. But the truth is, the issue of rape is a societal thing that is ingrained in our men. Now, let's be realistic. It cuts across from the senior-most downwards. We're putting all these efforts in. We're saying all we want to say. We're going out. We're reaching out. We're trying to change things. But it is an attitudinal problem. And when this thing happens, when it happens to the poor, it goes out. When it happens to people of affluence, then it becomes a problem. That's where I really commend the effort of the First Lady. Because now nobody's untouchable. But this thing has been going on. And you would see fathers, you see brothers. We've handled cases, like the case of the little child at emergency. I was at emergency during the period she was there. Each time that girl had to come to the theater, it was a problem. You see her on the watch, she's so loudy, she will talk, she controls her colleagues. But as soon as the nurses tell her, you can't go for cleaning up, everything changes. And it was so depressing. Each time you as a female doctor, you have to go in there to clean that child up and make sure she goes back to work. It's depressing. A lot of us have suffered things of this sort in the past, but we, because society makes it so, it's a cliche, something we cannot talk about. Up to university level, I've had, doctor, no, she deals with the ups and downs. I deal mostly with the kids. We don't tell our children things they're supposed to know. We don't tell our children. That's the honest fact. We talk about it all outside, on the outside. And that man not, why man not for touch me? What is the rationale behind it? No, sit down and that uncle, and why? We don't. I'm a mother, so I tell people, by 3 years, I'll start telling my child everything she needs to know. So by accident, you that uncle there or that brother, you wouldn't even dare. No, we have to start calling things by their names. When we get in touch, I have a patient and the mom was suspecting some abuse of some sort and she was having seizures and all that, coming to the hospital. And I asked her one day, you don't ever put your pikin down and ask her if you get boyfriend? Hey doctor, and she's like, no, doctor, I will go talk that kind of thing. I said, no, you talk to people. Why won't you talk to your kid about it? First you push and say, I can't to doctor, first the doctor can question them and know what they happen to her. So I think as mothers, as wives, as women, this is another thing where we need to target. We need to be able to explain to the least person on the ground, what is this? What is that? Our girls need to be able to identify. If a man tells you to do this, this is sex. Whether it's oral, whether it's in, whatever it is. Because sometimes they don't even know the different, they don't know. They don't know, and it's painful. When these kids come to the hospital, they present with all sorts of different symptoms. And if you're not sassy enough to, penetrate and get to know them, and sometimes the mothers are even aware. It's either the men they have at home, the new fathers they are dating, or possibly the husband. So it's a societal thing that we really, really need to get to the root of. It's not just an issue of policies, an issue of campaigns. We need to get to the ground, to the people, and let them know. This is like the Mami Queens, people in the community that really matter. We need to reach out to all of them. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, in continuation of what my colleagues have been saying, I just want to add about the social issues. So many people, so many rape victims, they are ashamed of reporting because of what the stigma that will happen to them after reporting. There are times that somebody will penetrate a child and the mother will say, oh, they are not talking, come out of it, then touch you. And also, even when the victims are being perpetrated, the environment will pinpoint on that person. So I think we need to have a social, I don't know if it's social or psychosocial, somebody that will be talking to these people so that they will not be left back or society will not point fingers on them. I think that is also an important point.
Yes, also in this issue of rape, because I'm currently working at PCMH, I think we should also focus on early child marriage and statutory rape. Because we have a lot of, last week we had a 14-year-old coming, she was heavily pregnant, and we asked who the father is. You find out that the parents are covering up things. There are a lot of girls coming in pregnant, issues, and one time there was an aunt that was with a child, and her response was, my mama said, Ben, I me 12 years I get married. So it's like it's acceptable. Like our grandmothers have been having children at an early age.
So for them, it's a rite of passage. Some of them, they don't even go to school. Some of the girls, they think of a future they want, but like, I mean, mama and I say, for go to this man. So I also think we have to talk with the parents, like doctor was saying, have a meeting with the community to know why are they giving their kids out for early marriage, what is it, and also see how best we can address their because most of the time the problem is poverty. How best we can analyze their issues and see how to empower those women in their little ways, so they don't use their kids as exchange for funding. And they are so smart about it. Once you come from, we have this land, this land, Fatima begin, and you cover up everything. It's like, and the papa. So they have this, and then the girl, she will just close up. You ask her anything that has to do with the parenting of the baby, she has nothing to say. She just be mama. And like, your mother did not get you pregnant, but I think most of them have been schooled before coming in that don't say anything. And some of them, they look younger than 18 because their standard age is 18. So you ask them, how old really are you? It's like, I'm 18. Once you want to start getting in on the issues, they closed off. And the family members also, so they are in on it. So also to avoid this rape issue, it's also okay to let girls know we don't have to do sex, because sex is now kind of an exchange for material things, as a form of living. It's like a trade or occupation kind of now for the girls. So we have to have, there are a lot of girls education programs or associations that are dealing with young girls. I think so we have to let them know they also have to be part of this answer for girls in terms of statutory rape and early child marriage. So the girls know they don't have to have sex with a guy because their mother wants something, because their family is poor, and the girls have to be a source of funding for the family. And also the parents to know that their children, I think, have a brighter future. They don't have to use their kids to fund the families. So if we get to the communities, have a conversation with them, maybe some of them, because not all will come out, some will come out, and those that come out, I think they will also help to be a little beam of light to others, and eventually there will be a change, however small it is.
Anybody else?
First lady, what I also want to advocate for is about the training, as other colleagues have said. But we are moving into evidence-based medicine, so it's high time we start looking at having forensics, so we'll be able to get detailed and accurate information to capture the perpetrators. And going also to the boys, Vice President mentioned that they are also very important, because if we catch them young, we educate them, then they will change the narrative. Because you see a 5-year-old raping a 3-year-old, how are you going to sentence them? What's going to happen to them? So it's so pathetic. So we have to encourage them, bring them together, give them the education they need so that they know what to do and how to respect women. Because the backgrounds we are coming from, we know that it's mostly the male dominated, so they see women as something low, they don't appreciate them, and that's why they will even go to violate them, not only the penetration but even the gender-based violence, to hit them and all of that. So if you teach them how to love their sisters, how to love their seniors or girls, they will respect them, and they will grow up and change the society. Because we see now it's like we are almost failing with the older ones. But if we concentrate on the younger ones, and over time we'll be able to change that. And also Dr. Thompson mentioned about the psychosocial aspect, even when we are creating this one-stop shop, but we should have people that are going out to bring these girls, because some of them, they have these issues because of family and suppression. They don't come out to say. But if we have these centers that they can go and talk to counselors, they just go there quietly, they talk to their counselors, you'll be able to get these things from them over time. It will not be one-stop something. But over time, if they continue the sessions, they will be able to come out, have confidence in the counselors to disclose whatever is happening to them. So I think the counselors are important, and the forensics. We need training in forensics so that we'll get this done, and the boys, we don't forget. Thank you.
Excellency, they've said almost everything, and the systematic approach is what we are all trying to come to. First, we're providing the medical service for the survivors, and then prevent. But preventing is the most difficult thing to do in our societies. Most people believe religious leaders than the police. Whatever happened, they'll go to elders in the church and they will preach to them, forgive. Or they will tell you this is marriage, or come on, this is family, let's pray about it. It's the work of the devil, all those things. But if the religious leaders or whoever people believe more than the authorities know that it's a crime to hide such cases and deal with it behind closed doors, I think people will start to come out. That's one. The other thing again, counseling. When patients get or survivors or victims get penetrated, when they go to the hospital, the first thing we'll focus on is what happened, how. I think we should change it to counseling them, because they carry this burden of guilt as if it's their as if they caused it. They did not do anything. They should not be ashamed of anything. In fact, they are awesome to come out and speak out. So we should first focus in treating them, and also focus in treating their mental health. We should talk to them, let them be eased, and then now try to see what we can do for them legally. And I've already said it, the thing about staying married. Okay, you're married, he's your husband, you already have kids with him, and it all starts by slapping you. First slap, the second one, they will almost remove your right eye. And then the third one, it all starts gradually. It's not suddenly they go to sexual gender-based violence. No. They'll slap you if you take it, okay. The next one, they will go for your eye. And if you take it, they can tie you up and they say they are doing whatever moves with you, but they are sexually abusing you. So people should know that slap, take that husband or whatever boyfriend to the police for a warning. Let them know they should not slap you. You are not their personal property. And it's not like the men are doing us favors by marrying us. Let them know marrying you does not make you a house help or a slave. It's coexisting thing. They should know that they have their worth. And staying married does not mean you should stay under bondage. The women should aware that I am a human being, I'm independent, I am a whole human being, and I'm okay, but I should not let a man abuse me just because of I want to stay married. Thank you. I'm getting personal.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, go with the training, because I know you want to talk about the training.
One of our challenges has been the funding. We've had a lot of challenges with the funding. We had initially, Daniel will back me up here, we had initially thought we could make use of course, we got some money from the Solidarity Fund, but they prefer us to use it on our survivors, which is fine. And we have also asked around, UNFPA was going to support us, but we have a challenge there. So, Daniel, can you come in, please?
So currently, I was just discussing with the UNA's director. Okay. We are trying to put modalities in place to secure more funds for the doctor's training. We wrote a proposal to OSIVA. OSIVA has not responded. We talked to UNFPA. They said let's wait. They are doing the guidelines together, so they want to delay it. And we also engaged solidarity fund, the money they gave us for us to use that part of the money. They said we should use it directly to the survivors. So what we have done so far for now at the moment is to look from our unrestricted fund, like the money that we don't have for any project specific activity, for us to see what kind of amount we can be able to use to train doctors, because it is urgent. Even in our rainbow centers, the doctors that are currently signing on our medical certificate in the regions needs to be trained. So that's where we wanted to train our doctors first, and then if we get more money, we expand it to all the doctors that are willing at the moment, because the budget that we had was just like 50 million, but it's because it's protocol for NGOs and also donors. It's a wrong process before they approve, before you go like this, and then
how soon can you do the training?
We're looking at we're supposed
yeah,
to do a training
we plan it like
Thursday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 3 days.
For their own doctor.
For their own doctors. That's just 10
We want
doctors.
to bring the doctors in
From the regions.
because we're having a lot of problems with the doctors, the
Even
medical officers.
with Aberdeen.
Yes, no,
Yes,
yes,
we said
I
that
think
they
we're
were supposed to
involved,
train them.
yes. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah,
we're
for just
supposed
10
to be
doctors,
doing,
that's what we
10 doctors. As I said, the problem has been finding the money.
Yeah, so if we are to bring all of the 25 doctors who are willing, we can just go back and then add the budget on it, and then if we, because we had this was telling
Let
us.
me ask, the money, what is it for? Is it for the doctors?
Yeah, for the refreshments, for the training, refreshments, their transport, accommodation, and all of these things when they come.
Well, if you guys can send us what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, if we can have a breakdown
Okay.
of what it is.
Yeah.
And then we will see how best, because there is no money anywhere.
Yeah.
And certainly not in the office of the first lady.
So we have to go look for it.
So if you bring it, let us see what we can, so as long as it's not something that will kill somebody.
Yes.
Because that also we have to, because again, with the office of the First Lady, like any other office in this country, even if I buy a bottle of water, I have to have a receipt for that water, and that receipt has to be tender. And me, as you see me, I don't want to go commission from
we will provide that. Because they will sign if we, because
so
normally
again, we have, as I have the office of the First Lady, I also have, as a group, the group that I'm part of is the Julius Matabia Women's Wing and associate members. So normally, in that group, we have everybody. Yeah? So when you come to the food and stuff, we have caterers, we have people in the group that can say, you know what, I can sponsor this, or I can do this, I can do that. So the ones that they can't do, we'll find the money.
Okay, that will be good.
Yeah?
Thank Yeah, of course, we submit it.
Yes, we can calculate per doctor how much it will cost to train per doctor. So we'll have that until we have an idea of how much it will cost to train.
I was just discussing it.
Yes.
I think I haven't been out because of you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and I'm really glad to be here with you. And to tell you the truth, I was very touched with the statement that the First Lady made. Because if you think about the things she was emphasizing on, the gender issues, and how boys have not been taken into consideration, and the issues that each and every one of you is raising. For us, we look at it from HIV, right? Because everything that you are doing eventually makes the girl much more vulnerable, and now we even have boys who are made vulnerable as a result of that. I'm really surprised, I must confess, that the UNFPA and everybody who committed to supporting this has not yielded fruit as at now. And because we started talking about this over 3 months ago,
So can we leave that part and just concentrate on?
I wanted to make.
Tell me what you're going to give us.
Yes, that's where I'm going. Thank you, Your Excellency. Because I'm thinking, we have 25 doctors in the city. Most of you are here.
Yeah.
So the cost of having a meeting will not be too expensive. It's basically hiring the venue and the meals and maybe transportation allowance, which can easily be dealt with. So I was telling him we can look at the budget together, together with Chief, and see how best the three of us can come up with a solution as soon as possible so that we can do the training.
Yes, sir.
I just need clarification because I have an idea of what you mean when you say training. But what sort of training for doctors are you referring to, just for the sake of the media?
It's the clinical management of survivors of sexual assault. Basically, we're training them how to provide the service, what to look for, and what to treat for, and how to treat. So actually it's a 5 days training, comprehensive, intensive 5 days training. So we educate them on how to receive the survivor, how to examine them, take the medical history, how to do the examination, how to collect forensic evidence, how to store it, how to keep it, and how to give them a follow-up and also counseling. So it's a holistic, it's a package.
Thank you. Yes,
yes.
I want to also know whether you are going to train them and testify in court, how to do that.
Yes. Also talk about the medical certificates, how to
give evidence
in court. Yes,
that's key.
Yeah. Do we have any doctor here that is terrified of court? So we can have the CJ come and do some head talk to us too?
I think whether or not we're terrified, I think that's a very important thing. It's good for us to have that dialogue as well.
Okay. I will send an invitation and say, well, you ladies are requesting that because he's also part of this cause and he really wants results.
And I think with the training of the judges also, I find that they are very protective of us doctors in court. Okay, Bintu is not here. I mean, they really guide you because they know that the lawyers can be very overwhelming, and they'll tell them categorically, don't ask the doctor that question. That is not the doctor's question. So the judges are quite accommodating, is what I would say, and they're trying to make it so that as soon as you get into court and they see you get into court, as soon as I enter the court, they stand down whatever case they have and they address the cases I'm there for. So they try not to waste your time at all. I mean, that's now things are going really fast.
That's one of the achievements.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you still want to do the training this Thursday?
I think we're going to, because we're bringing down some of the MOs from.
Yeah.
Everything is still up in the air. I think by tomorrow we should have confirmation.
Yeah, we'll confirm that.
So those, yes, we'll confirm. So those who were.
Yeah, so once probably the first venue we selected was at PCMH, but now myself and
because we have an arrangement. We have an arrangement with Radisson.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to tell them to provide the service. You just use the venue, they provide the food, and we pay the transportation.
I said, bring it to this floor. Yeah, it will be solved.
Yeah. Yeah. So Radisson, we'll work on that for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Let's give us. Okay, so let's plan it this week and the following week. Probably we'll plan it because since you guys have not been, so we can plan it this week, the entire week, and the other week we do the training. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is that acceptable? I know. Yeah. Will your money be available for
We will sort it out.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah.
At your service, ma'am.
Okay. So I think another positive thing that we want to do is each hospital, as you see, we are representing the different hospitals in Peter, is to have a SGPV coordinator. So one of the doctors, we call them coordinators, but they have an interest. So if any of our clients go to that particular facility, and like recently we had a case that went down to the Connaught Hospital, Dr. Jackson was there, she intervened, she monitored, you know. So it's like a hospital coordinator amongst us, the female doctors, so that we champion any survivor that goes into that hospital environment. So that's another model that we're looking at as female doctors as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My sister, you were talking about the school visits. Now, hadn't been because of the coronavirus, that was our next step. The step was that we're going to go into schools. We'll get boys to be champions of our girls, girls to be champions. So when we are moving from one school to the other, the boys talk to the girls in a girls' school, and the girls will talk to the boys in a boys' school. And then we will have workshop with these girls, and we have a plan also with Save the Children, where we will have an app so that these girls, they can be communicating, you know, with, so whoever signed up with this project, they will have an app on their phone, and that app is only to talk about things that they shouldn't do. The boys and the girls, they, you know, the app will not allow them to send messages that are contradicting what we're talking about. So it will have, you know, don't have sex while you're in school, don't wear your uniform and go, you know, like there's a lot of there are situations that are happening within our school environments these days, which for me, I believe is so unfortunate, because when you wear your uniform, you know, that's the one, it's like when you come from home and you're going to school in that uniform, you shouldn't do the things that I hear girls do or boys do these days. So how do we get them to start talking to one another? How do we get them to want to, you know, talk about this sex that we are talking about? So with that, when you're using the app, we will provide you with the data. So the benefit for them is they educate each other, but then they will be having a free internet data on their phones for them to be able to communicate with one another. So they are not going to be spending their own money, because you don't expect a school-going kid to say, okay, be talking to your friends and campaign in your community, because they themselves, they have to be the one to talk to each other, because that peer grouping is very important. Sometimes when you sit with this corona fashion, is very difficult. I need to breathe. So that you don't breathe, you can't die. So, okay. This when I sit with my daughter and I ask her questions, I can see how she's so terrified to talk to me about those things. And I'll get her sister to go and get the answer I want. You know, so when they talk to each other, they are more comfortable. And that's the reason why I begin to see the need for us to have peer grouping in these schools, where the girls, you know, the teachers will give the girls the space to be able to talk to one another.
so that they start to trust each other. Sometimes an issue that happens at home, they are not able to say to anybody else, but they can say it to another student. They can trust one. It's like finding someone they can trust to talk to, and they will be of the same age group, and it's easy for them to talk to that person. So those are things that, you know, even when we're talking about giving them the sanitary pads, this is more about having access again to them. So you don't just give, but, you know, tell them the thing to those districts and do the Hands Off Our Girl campaign there.
And #200 is smart device and
we just say it as it is.
You must click permission to connect your device to this TV.
We just, can you use the remote and just turn it off, please? We just say things as it is. There is no finesse in telling this district that, you know, like even very recently, 2 months back, I went to Kono, and I told the paramount chiefs, I said, I'm so proud that, you know, you people are saying my daughter, but what will make me the happiest woman if Kono district is not the district that have the highest rape in this country? You know? So they know I know. So how do we empower these girls? That is what we can come together, we can have a plan, because I cannot be in all of these places, but then we can devise a way that when we start, you know, you have to be in 10 schools, you know, everybody have a location. So that, you know, this is your own thing. You go there, and then, you know, whenever I'm available, I can come and help. But then they know you're speaking on behalf of the project. Do you understand? So that's what I'm also looking at. It's not really, the Hands of a Girl, of course, is a title. We have to have a title for people to know. But for me, winning the fight is more important. Because I know a whole lot of people have their own thing, or they have their own umbrella and they want to remain under their own umbrella. Fantastic. We can still, as long as we're doing the same thing, I have no problem about it. Let us just go and not stop. What I'm not enjoying is the fact that, you know, like my sister here was saying, when an affluent child is a victim of any kind of situation, everybody comes up. That's when the social media blow up. That's when the pictures, you know, everybody, oh yes, blah, blah, blah. But then what about that child in that village that nobody know about? What about that child who, even to have their food to eat, they don't have? Now, who speaks for those kind of child? That is most times, you know, people will say, oh, but everybody went and say something about this case, but the first lady didn't say something. I don't have to personalize my campaign on a case, because the campaign is not on case basis. The campaign is for Sierra Leone. So these are the kind of thing, again, I don't want someone to say, well, I don't go to the provinces. I've got people who said to me, oh, I've never been to the provinces. So do you think I want to go to the provinces? But I have to. So that's the other thing also. I have people who, if you call them, they will come only if they know that His Excellency will be in that meeting. Do you understand? So I've worked with all kind of people. You know, it's a honest truth, because not everybody wants to talk about sex. Not everybody wants to talk, not, you know, some people, it's like they know it's happening right under their feet, but they don't, this is like, oh no, it's a no-go area. But if you say, oh, you know, His Excellency is going to be at that phone, oh boy, see, that's when the phone call won't stop. Oh, do I have an invite? Can I come? You know, if every one of us, like we're talking about, do we have to school a parent how to bring up their own child? As a parent, don't you know your responsibility on this earth? When you have a child, poor or rich, your job is to protect that child. So now imagine if we're now going to go and say, we have to go house to house and start calling mothers and say, look, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Believe you me, by the time we finish, my sisters, we will not have one thing done. But what I can suggest here is, what we can do is actually have because a whole lot of people within the provinces and these remote areas that our feet can't reach, they all have radios.
Yeah.
They all have radios. So maybe it shouldn't just be the voice of the First Lady alone. If we can arrange a way where we'll have media people come and record the voices of 5, 6, 10, 50, whoever wants to be heard. We put them together and disseminate them all over the country and make sure these messages are played constantly. So the issues that we're talking about, these are issues, even the farmer in the farm, they listen to the radio. The market woman in the market, they listen to the radio. And then when we say we're going to do the footwork to go, we start going to the schools. We talk about sexual education. I remember when we started the campaign, this is one thing that I have been talking about. I knew what I would, I don't want to say it here because the minister is in a better place to really talk about this. But the few times, I think my understanding is they are reintroducing sexual education in schools. So whether it is going to happen this year, I don't know, but that information I can get from the Minister of Basics, because it has to start from basic education, come upwards. So these are things that we can do. We can go to the universities and get champions from these universities. We can go there and get champions, from universities. They don't have to be girls. They don't have to be girls, because for me, I keep saying everywhere I've traveled to, I said to the people, why would I want to talk about sex or rape with a woman? I want to talk about these issues with a man so that they understand our position. So, we also need to start talking to our boys, our sons, our husbands. You'll be surprised to know how many African men don't want to hear the word rape, because for them it's like their bona fide right. And these are people who are educated men. Do you understand? So us women, it's also our responsibility now start talking about these things freely in our houses. You talk about them, like the whole world will say Madabio or President Madabio, that man, they smile. You understand? But then what time does he have to listen on all of the issues of rape? What time does he have? He make all the time. I can tell you when we had the issue on Khadija, and Elizabeth's phone did not stop. Madabio would not sleep. He was pacing up and down as if a wounded lion is about to, and they had to, everybody, from the whole police, everybody, they have to drop everything, because like this, I don't even want to, if I open my eye, so that's the kind of situation. Now, if we have all our men in our house feel the same way, they become more protective of our children, because they begin to see sense. Do you understand? Because naturally, a mother's job, if a car is coming from that side of the road and their child is in, to be crushed by a car, a mother will jump there. They will not even realize that both of them are going to be killed. That is a mother. Now, how do we get our fathers to do the same? How? And then when we talk about the issue, which I do respect also, when we talk about the issue about poverty, that, poverty is the reason why people do these things. For me, I think it's morality. Because if we look at the kind of poverty, the movies that we watch from India, is what they want us to see. If you see the kind of poverty that is in India, now imagine just one street in India, if they all decide to be a prostitute, or they all decide to go on the street and say, because we are poor, we are going to do this, we're talking about minimum 3 million people. So these are the kind of, because then if we now start to find excuses why they are happening, as the moment we start to say these are the excuses, then we are accepting it that, well, because of this reason, it is okay. we shouldn't have any kind of excuses around it. You know, rape is rape. There is no two way about it. I wrote on my Facebook the other day, I can't even remember, like your erection should not be your direction. Do you know what I mean? I put that on my Facebook. Do you want to see, people were saying Jesus Christ like, and I believe they don't go to church. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, the only thing you saw on my message, erection should not be your direction, is Jesus Christ. You know, these are the kind of things, basically, because it is very important for people to know. They have to understand. If we don't talk about sex, how would we stop the problems of sex? If when I come to talk, I have to, the first lady, yes, yeah, oh, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Oh, this is very nice. Rape, oh, Auntie APC, thank you. Is it rape? Because we will not even talk about it. Now, let us be honest with each other and talk about this issue and say, look, this is happening. Oh. Now, call your brother and ask, are you a rapist? Because if you are one, I swear I'll be the one to call the police on you. Call your son and say to your son, I will not accept a rapist under my roof. I love you so much, but that route, I don't want you to go. These are the kind of communication that we have to have. Me and you here, how many of us are here? How many households can we reach? How many? It's every one of us, it's our responsibility. Now with the one-stop shop, I believe the Minister of Gender is working very hard on that, and to make sure we get the right space and whatever that is required. I believe that she is working on that. With the forensic lab, Don Bosco has asked that they want to bring a forensic lab. The police are also working on that. Even the military are also working on a forensic lab for us to have one. The government know that it is very important if we want to also reduce the chances of people saying I lied and lied by me, not to true, not to true. This is needed. So we believe under the leadership of the Minister of Gender, she's going to be working on those things, because I only focus on the advocacy side. But when you come to most of the implementations and all of those things, even what people don't understand, when a case, people would, they rape a child and they will take the child, they walk into my office. But this is not where you should bring this child. You take the child straight to the police. They will take a child that has been raped straight to State House that they're asking for the president. Another day I went to the house and, you know, there's a family there with their child that the child has been raped. I said, even just 2 days ago, somebody sent me a message to say, oh, there is a rape case here in, I don't even know what's I can't even remember because the message is on my phone. I said, have you contacted the Minister of Gender? No, ma. Have you contacted the police? No, ma. So now you want me to leave Lebanon and come? Well, because you are the only, I said, because I'm on Facebook doesn't mean I can solve all your problems through Facebook. Exactly. You know, so these are the other things that we want to also tell these people, you know, when you have these kind of emergencies, where you should go to straight. Because I honestly, it's like, I'm not the first lady, I'm just the woman who deals with rape. So everybody rape, they come. They come to this office, they bring the kid and stuff, and now you become so attached to that. And then the moment the case goes other way, automatically, then don't compromise. And I'll be in the middle. Just because right from the beginning, that they didn't follow the right procedure. Maybe by the time they don't say, make will come to the first lady 7 days later. So all the evidence is gone. You understand? 7 days later, now what do you want me to do? Because I cannot make miracles to bring back evidences. So me, together, I believe what we can all do we can engage the media, we can engage the radios, we can go to the schools, we will do this training. That one, there is no two-way about it. It has to be done, and not just for the 10 doctors, we have to do training for all the doctors. I will also personally plead with the CJ and ask if, please, if during that training, if he can spare time to go there and also just give you people the courage, because me self are the free kotu, honestly. But then if he can do that also, then it's like we don't have to finish with the medical training, come back and go into the legal side. We will liaise with him and ask for, so that the timing are right, and then he will also put his own structures in place to make sure we can do the two training together. Yeah. So I mean, I want to say thank you. Unfortunately, because if you guys are considering Thursday is the
Next week.
We're putting it for next week now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's next week, that will be on the 8th, and that's the International Day of the Girl Child something.
Yeah. And
I already have a prior engagement that I cannot get myself out. Yes, so if it's on Thursday, if it's on a Wednesday, then I can even come to the opening, and then because after that I'm off to my lovely village. I'm going to Kono for the weekend. Yeah. So I want to say thank you very much.
It's just like
for
Is it fine for us to do it on Wednesday?
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
The beautiful ladies are here. So with women, you just need to be nice.
Them in their job, so
Yeah, it's just about their job. That's why I'm thinking.
I'm telling you, if you are nice, you will get it.
Okay. So just to clear your expectations, we will be having some male doctors also, so that you know. So now you don't say it's only women. Why we see men? So you will be having some male doctors.
I was just going to say that in looking at in line with what we want to do and what you want to do, one thing we need to think about is doing some kind of peer education in the schools. Identify strong peers in the schools, then train them, because they then go and those probably will be the ones that will be the apps that so that
they are the one that we are going to call the champions.
So, for peer education. So if you want our support, what I'm going to say is that we can then come in now and support the program but I think it would be nice for us to sit down and get the program set, what we're going to do, what skills we want to do. Have a maybe do a one page or something. I don't know if you have something.
We have a program ready, but after your training, and then we will, because like I said, we also have to consider the corona. That's the one thing that is now.
Actually, that is what has stopped us.
Yes, because the campaign, the dynamics of the campaign this year was more aggressive than but because of this corona thing, we're not able to. But I know that my chief of staff normally look after beautiful women when they come for a meeting. I don't know whether we actually
performed. Look after humanity.
Have we performed?
So I mean, am I allowed to announce that there is lunch downstairs?
With our pleasure, actually.
Okay.
I tell you.
With our pleasure.
And then people wonder why I'm getting fat. When you have a chief of staff that